talk about today is tax avoidance versus tax evasion. There are two things that people commonly use, and typically get those definitions interpreted completely differently. So when you're filing your taxes and utilizing your funds throughout the year, there are different things you should be doing, things that are going to help limit your tax burden, your tax liability at the end of each year, and in other cases, avoiding it altogether. But there are different ramifications from these different terms. So I would say that tax avoidance is pretty much minimizing your taxes that you have to pay each and every year, whether it be personally or if you or if you have a business. So it's pretty much using the tax deductions that they provide to you already, and you're able to set up, tax deferral plans, taking certain tax credits to avoid just paying outright 37%, 10%, 12%, whatever your tax bracket is, depending upon your income. So that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about. Is going to be the tax avoidance. I'll let King of Dreams over here, Joseph, go ahead and talk about tax evasion. So we have a clear understanding on the differences between the two, because as I said before, the ramifications are completely different. So let's get on. I'm just going to get right into it. So tax avoidance is the legitimate way of minimizing your taxes. So you're able to use different methods within the tax code to alleviate that tax burden that you ended up having to face. So businesses like to avoid taxes by taking all the legitimate deductions that they possibly can, and or by sheltering income from taxes by setting up employees with different type of benefits within their overall package that they offer for employment, which could be retirement plans as an example. And so I would say that it is beneficial for the business standpoint and for the employee. So that helps minimize both parties' taxes, the employer and the employee, by contributing to those type of plans, whether it be an IRA, SEP IRA, 401k, 403b. Any of those are tax deferred plans that are setting you up for tomorrow, so for your future. So it's very beneficial to contribute to those, whether you're a business owner or not. But that is one thing that they do utilize to help alleviate that burden by avoiding taxes, by sheltering money in these tax deferred plans. And a lot of them like to call them tax shields because they protect you against the higher tax rate depending on what your taxable income ends up being. And then you have other tax credits as a business individual. You have that work opportunity tax credit for hiring people within your community and that business. There are others that, as far as any type of expenses, whether you be for those business owners, you have different expenses you're able to write off to lower that taxable bill at the end of the year. And then there are loopholes. So there are little tax loopholes that help you avoid them, because it is virtually impossible to close all loopholes, because if man makes it, man can find a way, or as they're writing it, already have a loophole in mind to ensure that they're always being able to use that. So any person or business is able to use that loophole to their advantage, because it's technically not breaking the law. It's just a part that law hasn't covered that hole pretty much.
Yes.
So it is avoid, never to evade. You always want to avoid your taxes. You're able to use accelerated depreciation for different equipment, vehicles that are used, whether it be in a restaurant or if you're an Uber driver or a truck driver. You're able to use that asset at a depreciating rate to also add on as a deduction to help lower your as well. And the good thing about being tax avoidant, being aware of that, is you don't have to deal with looking over your shoulder. So that's a major, major thing. You want to be able to live life smooth, clean as possible. I'm doing the right thing. I'm using the code effectively to benefit myself, because I do not want to end up having to pay so much. Like, I've worked hard for this $1 million, this $2 million, this 500, this 50,000. I don't want to give 20, 30,000 of it away if you're a 50K a year person. If you're a 100 million or $1 million person, you want to give up over half of that. Or even if you're a lottery winner, you want to give up all of it. You want to put it somewhere where it'll be tax deferred, and you can withdraw those contributions per month, or however you set up your investment portfolio, or wherever you shelter that money. So that's pretty much tax avoidance, is using your resources that are there to, pretty much eliminate a lot of the burden that you could be potentially facing. So I'll let you go ahead, talk about the evasion portion. Because evading taxes is fun.
Until it's not.
Until it's not. So I'll let you go ahead and take over on that.
Yeah, I'm very glad you brought up all the information on tax avoidance, because it's just using the tax code correctly and taking advantage of the opportunities you're presented. During my career working in the bank, I've seen some people take advantage of the R&D tax credit, which the government sponsors, and they give you $250,000 in credit if you're a startup, innovating and bringing technical jobs back to the U.S. So that's a really good tax avoidance strategy.
Yeah, avoidance. Excellent.
Yeah, you're being informed about the code and using it correctly. But on the side of tax evasion, it deals a lot with intent and you hiding income and
welcome to the dark side.
Not reporting assets, and that's where it gets bad for you. If you're hiding how much cash or tips you're receiving, and you're hiding the assets you receive, the IRS is going to want to know about that, and it's of course illegal. So you get into a lot of trouble when you're trying to evade taxes.
Gotcha. Just deliberate negligence, it sounds like.
Yeah, you just don't want to pay up.
Which I don't understand why people would want to do that, because at some point you're going to want to acquire, wealth through the assets. So like through purchasing a home, maybe even buying land itself, because you foresee that this is going to be a hot area for developers, whether it be future homes or businesses or complexes. I don't understand why you would want to avoid them in that way, and then do it deliberately, just for the sake of having. At that point, I would say the most people that are, to me, trying to evade taxes are the people who have more money they can even spend. So what is the point in trying to hold it all? And you can't take it with you. You're going to end up leaving whatever is left, passing it down to the next generation.
Exactly.
But you don't want to teach them that habit, because then they're not going to have anything to build on.
Yeah. You know what, I think it becomes a kind of power thing. These people have all this money and they don't feel like the IRS should have power over them. But sometimes it happens even without even noticing. Paying your nanny under the table, or paying the construction worker doing your work cash, and you don't want to report taxes on that work, or you don't want to withhold taxes. It's too much trouble for you. Or even with new innovation, banking on Bitcoin, hiding funds through Bitcoin.
Yeah. I did read this article. I did want to bring this up. Don't want
Yeah.
to take over your segment, but I did read on. I wasn't reading. Let me correct that. It was a video that I was watching that was about a great actor. He was pretty cool by the name of Wesley Snipes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was a huge fan of his movies. Blade, especially Blade. That was just off the chain. And then he's in Expendables, and then some of his later movies. I can't remember the titles right now, but I was watching it, and they pretty much talked about what we're talking about. But the whole point was he he was giving advice as to his funds, his money is to go ahead and set up this corporation.
Yeah.
A corporation is pretty much a nonprofit organization, like a church or something like that, and put all of your money into that business and then pay yourself from that. So it's just like that. I guess you could say in that time, clever idea,
Yeah.
but that is by far tax evasion.
Yes.
Like
of
by
course.
far, there's no even I accidentally, and which why we want to bring this to everyone is so they have the information, not just, this guy told me to do this, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You're telling me I can keep all my money if I do this? I'll go ahead and do that. No. Like, you might want to double, triple check and see if that advice is accurate, because otherwise you'll end up in a situation as he did, having to lose a lot of the things that he did have. Black Panther ended up not falling through as one of the big ones a lot of people talked about, especially in that video. He lost a lot of things, so he had to pretty much start over in a sense. So I know he's of that great magnitude, being an actor in the public eye all the time, but there's a lot of other individuals who are not in the public eye that are probably making the same or more, and they end up finding themselves in this type of situation. I would say even the accidental people who do it would be like preachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's intentional, but I would just say it's a lack of knowledge, not knowing that, I do have to do these things. But you want to keep all your money, go with me. Tax avoidance.
Yeah.
Just shelter it in these different plans that allow you to defer taxes or not even pay taxes depending on the type of account you establish.
Exactly. And that's what it's about, delayed gratification. That's one large concept that's taught in the Bible. We have to do everything in moderation. And if you lean on the side of tax evasion, you're kind of corroding that idea. So if you team up with Mr. Wilson here, you'll be able to be on the side of tax avoidance, and you'll be able to defer your income, set it up in strategic plans, and you'll be able to live a very happy, fulfilling life where you're not looking over your shoulders.
Yeah.
But if you're going to lead on the side of tax evasion, it's a very common thing that people do. And the IRS knows it's a common thing that they do. So they'll be looking out for you. They'll be investigating you. They'll be auditing you. And it was great that you brought up you have to have someone else look at it. Yeah, if you have Wilson Financial look at your methods, they could help you determine as an independent source if, hey, is this tax evasion or is it tax avoidance? And that's what it's always good to do, to have someone audited, someone independent who does not benefit from it.
Of course, because all we're getting the gain out of this is ensuring your business is open, it's thriving, and it's helping the community and the people you employ.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the entire objective of everything, is to make sure all of the small business owners out there, the entrepreneurs, they're setting themselves on the right foot from the get-go, rather than having to fall backwards trying to correct everything, or end up in a situation where their entire business is on a hold or a freeze.
Yeah.
Because there was that, not having that knowledge between avoidance and evasion. So yeah, we're here to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here to help, most definitely.
Yeah. And one of the interesting things is you have to also report illegal activities and income from illegal activities.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're drug dealing or in prostitution, you have to report that too, or else that's considered tax evasion.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be trying to wash the money. Don't be trying to do that. Report everything. Even if you are doing stuff like that, I wouldn't even suggest you continue to do stuff like that.
No.
But you can always try to do the right thing, establish a business, and go about your business that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say just report at all times, because I had a friend that what he did was he did the allowance, which is another form of evasion. He did like 12 or something like that, but there wasn't 12 people he was responsible for. He just wanted all of his money. He could have simply just went exempt, but someone told him, you just pick a number for the allowances so you can get the most.
Yeah.
So he ended up writing 12. Then as he's filing taxes, it's not adding up. And then some years he didn't even file at all. And they know you're working because you have a social attached to a business and you're getting paid. He ended up being in huge tax debt.
Wow.
Huge tax debt. And so I just say, do your research, find someone who knows what it is that they're talking about. We're one of those people.
Yeah.
We're going to give you accurate information. We even fact check our own stuff that we be saying.
Yeah.
Like, we want to make sure we're giving the most transparent, clear information. Not anything that's gray, little shady, none of that. Anything we advise you to do, we might say it with our eyebrows up, but it just doesn't mean it's sneaky. It's just something that people don't know they can do through the tax code, through the being able to file differently, the different type of tax loopholes that are out there, credits, deferral plans, deductions that you're able to use. So yeah, that is pretty much the key right there. Is making sure you have people on your side that have your best interest at heart and giving the right information. Because I'm pretty sure they have Wesley Snipes' best interest at heart.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have my friend's best interest at heart, but it
Yeah.
wasn't the right information, and it ended up costing them both on two completely different levels. One, I think Wesley Snipes went to jail, and then my friend over here is just sitting in debt and tax debt.
Yeah.
And being in tax debt means you don't get no house. There's a lot of things you're not able to get because you have liens. So
yeah, you might not even get a job.
may not even get a job.
Yeah.
That's a terrible ramification right there. Can't even get a job, then you end up doing stuff you ain't supposed to do, and that's still tax evasion because there's no way to properly report that type of income because it's not technically legal. Unless it's marijuana in the state of California. You go, if that's what you do, set up the business and start selling it.
Yeah, or Colorado.
Or Colorado. They're the first state to do it. So if that's what you do, do that and set up your business. It's legal now. There's no need to try to hide.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I would say that's good. Tax professionals are good. This young man right here, about to be a CPA. So he's gonna know what he's talking about. So yeah, get someone on your side that's good, that's gonna be able to do everything properly for you, even all the way down to the payroll tax, pay your employees, do the proper withholdings. Not doing that is tax evasion as well, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and if you have been tax evading and you want to come clean, the IRS provides a method for that. You can file Form 1040X, and you know what, the IRS is similar to Jesus. They'll forgive you. You know, they won't nail you. You'll be able to file a 1040X and correct your past returns and amend them, and that might be a great start. Yeah, you won't have to tax evade anymore. You could tax avoid with Wilson Financial.
Yeah, yeah, that is good. That was a great analogy. You can go back and try to fix your mistakes, and in many things, you're unable to do that.
Exactly.
Like once it's done, that's it. I have 2 kids. I can't go back and say get rid of them. No, they're here now. The act was done. They're here. They're present. It's my responsibility. But in the same type of scenario, if I'm not present in my kid's life. Now I can be present and fix the portion in which I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so same thing with taxes. You can go back. I think you can go back up to 3 years, I believe it is.
Yeah.
You can go back up to 3 years and fix all of that stuff and get yourself, you may be in debt a little bit, but it's better than them coming down and shutting everything that you built in the midst of accidentally or intentionally doing wrong.
Exactly.
You're at least paying it back before they come and visit you. You always want to beat them to the punch.
Yeah.
Because if they come to you, it's already over. It's already said and done. Yeah. So I think that's it. I think there's nothing else to talk about. Just make sure you're doing the right thing. You don't want to end up in tax court. You don't want to be convicted, have a criminal record. You don't want to end up in jail.
No.
You just don't want it because the fees and everything goes up high when you come out of jail and you're working for the IRS. Literally, whatever job you have, they're taking it all. You do not want any type of jail time or anything because you want to be there for your kids. You want to be there for your family. You don't want to be pretty much in a, I guess, lack of a better term, slave type of mentality because you're working for someone else and benefiting nothing from it.
Exactly.
So you want to make sure that you're reporting, using the tax deductions, setting up those deferral plans, taking those credits that they're giving you. You do not want to be in a situation where you're not paying any taxes, not reporting all of your income, not paying your taxes, sending money to a different country,
Yep.
putting it in a nonprofit and then paying yourself. You just don't want to do that. Taking 12 allowances on your W-4 form, that makes no sense. If you want, just go ahead and just file exempt.
Yep.
Just file exempt and know that you're going to have to pay it on the back end. Don't come and be like, oh, I'm $3,000 in debt. I'm $8,000 in debt. I'm $12,000 in debt after 3 years, and you just didn't want to pay them. Because then that will, it wasn't tax evasion. It's just you're avoiding paying the tax. And so you're going to end up with leverage. You're going to end up with garnishments. So just stay on top of it. You don't want to get yourself in that type of predicament.
No, never.
So that'll be the end of this segment. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and email us, info@wilsonfinancialmgmt.com. That's info@wilsonfinancialmgmt.com. Also, to all the listeners, all the watchers, thank you for your support. Greatly appreciated. And if you haven't, please do join the Dove Club as low as $5 a month on Patreon, where we're bringing all of this information and more to you exclusively. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye-bye.